Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 13th episode of the Fans of DC Universe podcast, the only DCU podcast for the fans, by the fans, and the best source for all DC Universe news and discussion on everything DCU. Today, we are going to be talking about New York Comic Con, Titans Episode 4, Aqualad, and the Capies. What are the Capies? You'll find out. But first, joining us today are New 52.
Hi.
Aquaman C137.
Howdy, y'all.
And Duke 45.
Hello.
So I'm just out of curiosity, why 137 and 45? Just in your name.
Random numbers, just random numbers for me.
No, and it's only one person on the DCU app has figured it out. It's from Rick and Morty, Earth C137. That's like their original Earth.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm a big Rick and Morty fan, but no one's caught on to it.
Well, now we've all caught on to it because you've revealed it to the world. Ooh. So for those who are curious, we're going to be starting every episode with Titans from now on because I feel like you guys really want the Titans discussion more than the comic discussion. And then we're going to go into comics, then we're going to go into news. But first, how was your week? Did you do anything fun? Reading? Well, actually, we'll do reading in a second. Anything you guys want to say that you guys it was fun, or what? Or is this just my failing at a segment? This is the latter, isn't it?
Me personally, I haven't had a chance to even read any comics. I've just been super busy with schoolwork, labs, and writing research papers myself, and exams, unfortunately.
Yeah, I get the school grind. I'm on it, and I'm doing great so far in school. It's so satisfying looking through the grade book right now because it's all A's, but all the tests and stuff are starting to come in, and it's already starting to drop, and it's disheartening. Well, that was my failing at a segment. Well, that was my failing at a segment, you guys. So we're gonna move on. We'll remove that segment. It's okay. So first, Titans Episode 4, Aqualad is out now, and the episode jumps to the past to tell the story of the first incarnation of the Titans. As always, full spoilers will be here. So if you don't want to listen yet, or like you haven't watched the episode, just jump ahead probably about 15 minutes ish. We tend to talk about the stuff for a while. So what do you think of Titans Episode 4, Aqualad?
Well, I thought it was again a very solid episode of this new series of new season of Titans. It just seems the show continues to improve each episode, and I really liked this backward telling the story of Aqualad and how he was a connected part of the crew. And just the way the person who played Garth, I really thought he did a pretty good job playing as Garth as Aqualad. Even though this episode, would pretty much be the only one that you see him as. I think he really did a really good job connecting with the character about how Aqualad would act. So I think he did a really good job there.
Yeah, they did a good job letting us get to know him, within the one episode.
Yeah, but then they did what they did to him. So
I know that's such a bummer that he's only coming in for one episode. I thought at least maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because we all knew he was going to be the one that died.
Yeah, I kind of figured it out the second that it was the past episode and he was in it. I was like, oh. But I really liked him. I liked the story with Donna Troy. I felt like it was fun. I loved the little clownfish story. Like that was just like wonderful because he comes across kind of like Hank, because it's like arrogant, like not the best guy to hang around sort of person. But then when you like get to have the conversations with Donna Troy, you really see that he has a lot of heart to what he's saying, and you grow really fond of him. And then of course, boom, and that's all I had to say.
Yeah, and what I'm gonna say this though, again, I think the Deathstroke casting once again really shows that the way he was acting in the beginning part of the episode, I gotta say, it felt like they took those kills something right out of something. Do you ever heard of a video game called Hitman? That remind me of that type of
Yes.
kills in situations that it felt like that. Like, wow. I mean, he was going after people and, just, taking out snipers and going in with, taking down like their witnesses and this and the kind. I'm like, this dude shows in a certain scenes and such how dangerous this person is, how Deathstroke is, how dangerous he is. How dangerous
he kind of reminded me of Deadshot in that scene.
Well, here's what always throws me off. What's the difference between Deadshot and Deathstroke? Now, I get they're very different characters, and that thematically they have very different backstories. Floyd Lawton's stories are more often based off of like his daughter, whereas Deathstroke is a little more family-based. But like, what is different about the characters from a fighting perspective?
Well, the difference I would say would be that so like Deathstroke, I can't remember if it was through like the government experiments, but he can. I'm sure you all know. He can access like 90% of his brain.
Right.
Yeah, between that and I mean they're both hitmen and everything, and I get why you get that vibe from it. But between him having more access and functionality or whatever to his brain, he also is just like a better martial artist, and in my personal opinion, just way better than Deadshot, honestly.
Yeah.
And also, he's more strict. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And also, Deathstroke is more strategic. He is more of a planner. He sits and waits and does things and says, okay, he can get his hands dirty, but he's like, you know what? Let me just sit and wait, and let me, take these guys out piece by piece. And he does things on his terms and forces you to fight on his terms. He doesn't go and fights and everyone else. While Deadshot is, while he can be, he can take you out anyway. Push a little bit, he'll fight you on your terms.
Well, and also like Deathstroke, or Deadshot is more just kind of a gun for hire. Like Deathstroke will operate within his like moral code of justice and stuff like that, and he'll do things kind of more just like what he thinks is right, or he'll pursue his own missions. And like Deadshot is more just straight up a hitman.
But what's throwing me off, and I guess this is the thing to think about, is in Titans so far, what would the difference between Deadshot and Deathstroke be? Like what, like if that makes sense. Like so far, Deathstroke's just taking shots. Like he's also a very good sword fighter, right? And he has a lot more family elements. But so far, there's not been a lot to separate like a Deadshot from a Deathstroke. Like if you substituted the two, I think the story would still feel very similar.
Well, like I said, with the martial arts, like Deathstroke has, the background with the League of Shadows. I don't know if they're going with that for the show, but Deadshot is, like I said, just strictly a hitman who's really a great marksman.
Right, but my comment is in Titans so far, all we've seen of Deathstroke are him shooting people and him being angry, and I feel like
he
so
stabbed
far
the one guy.
Yeah, but I feel like Deadshot can stab one guy too.
But I don't think Deadshot would go into their home to do that. He would just do it from afar. I think Deathstroke isn't afraid to get up close and let someone know that he's the one that did it. Because he even let Donna see him.
I like that. I think you're on to something, New 52. Ooh.
And I would just like to say about like my thoughts on like the first parts of the episode with like a little montage with him, doing all his hits and everything. I loved the like the music that went with that, like how it was like almost like upbeat kind of like, just another day at work kind of, while doing like this brutal stuff. And I love that scene when he takes out that I'm guessing it was a judge or someone in the court system, and like you see the blood splatter on the screen. It reminded me of like a comic panel.
Yeah.
I love when comic book like TV shows or movies like focus on the comic book aspect of storytelling in a little bit more of an interesting way. Like, for example, Into the Spider-Verse is like a living comic book, right? And I think having moments that like where you're like, oh, it's the camera, like they're putting blood on the quote unquote camera, is like it's kind of cool because it like changes the perspective on storytelling and breaks some of the reality, but it also creates an interesting new look at reality.
Yeah, because in comics, the panel layouts are so important and how they're set up on the whole page. So I like when they take the time to set up a camera a certain way or show something differently than they would in like a TV show about doctors, you know?
Yeah, I will say I was a little annoyed with I'm just talking about fight scenes. I was a little annoyed by the second Dr. Light fight scene. Because while it was a little more interesting in the first one, I hate that like they were like flank him, and then everyone just piles up into the same hallway, and you're like, what? That's not a flank. Of course, and it being Hank and Dawn went around, so I would have loved to see like an aerial shot so that you could see him flanking. Because instead, it just felt weird. Like it was hard to get a picture of what was actually going on in the fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would like for at least one fight scene throughout the season, kind of, take a note out or take notes out of like the Netflix Marvel stuff and like have an epic like one shot, like the hallway scene kind of thing where it's just all one shot. I love those kind of things.
I think this show could do that. With the martial art fighters, with like say Robin and you have Jason Todd and all those people, they can do that. I mean, having that is impressive, but also I think what's missing is that type of characterization a bit. I mean, they're getting better, but when you look at Daredevil, especially season 1, you felt like this character not only is that good, but he's earned that type of thing. He's earned that type of stuff. That sort of thing. And Titans hasn't gotten there yet. Hopefully by the end of this season, it gets there. And it starts to actually say, okay, now you guys deserve it.
Yeah, and one thing you said about getting better, like, man, I feel like this season, like every episode is getting better. Just overall, like how they, execute the story. When they jump from like, character to character, like from timeline and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm just like I love last episode, and like this episode was like better to me. I feel like, and I just think they're just every episode is just getting better, man.
Yeah, and also here's something interesting. We saw spoilers, Slade take down Aqualad and such. But what if he wasn't really the person to take down? That wasn't his main target. What if it was Donna Troy?
He did keep shooting.
Yeah, he did keep shooting, and I'm also wondering who ordered that hit. I don't think they're gonna go with the route that it's gonna be that Amazon, the older lady that was mentoring her. I'm not super familiar with Wonder Woman comics. I don't know if you know that character, New 52.
No.
But do you not?
No.
Okay. Yeah, like I'm wondering what's gonna come of that, and also I mentioned it in the watch along, like so Amazons don't age, and they were like a certain age when they were created. So I'm wondering why she's so much older.
Well, we're not sure that she's an Amazon.
Yeah, I just thought that as I was saying it, but like I just kind of assumed it, and also the way she split that bullet in half, that would be mad skills if you weren't an Amazon.
That was actually pretty cool. But she could also be like Julia from the George Perez run, where like she kind of as a baby interacted with them, so she like knows about the Amazons and stuff, but she's still human. I don't know.
That's interesting though.
And
because there's a reason that she's not on the mascara, or as Aqualad said, the mascara.
That was hilarious.
I know. I had never thought of it like that.
And again, and like I said, that Garth really, and I hate the fact this is his only episode, because I think if he had more time, and I know people don't stay dead in comics for whatever reason. It would be nice to see if somehow
he's dead, man.
I know, but it'd be nice to see him back or something like that, because I think he would. I think he would be a really good I think it'd been really nice to see someone like him in the show to lighten it. Again, it just feels like the way they are shooting this season, it feels like season 2 is just like a big retcon of season 1.
Yeah.
It looks like it's this. All this stuff was like, you can't tell me this was all planned out. Because the way it was shot from season 1, you know they would have been doing this stuff in season 1 if this was the plan.
Well, and it had to. I'm sorry, go on, New 52.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that even though this episode was called Aqualad, did anyone else feel more like it was a Donna Troy episode?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was the clownfish episode.
No, because if you think about Titans from last year, right? The Doom Patrol episode was really a Garth story, not a Doom Patrol story. The Donna Troy episode last time in season 1 was really a Dick Grayson story, not a Donna Troy story. What these story number 2s are purposed for, right? And each 2 episodes is a different character. What the purpose of those episodes is to tell and give the characterization of who they are. So we learned a lot more about Donna Troy through this episode. Right? And that's where the purpose. Whereas, for example, all the episodes in season 1 that were named after a character, and they were often about revealing something about generally Dick Grayson, but occasionally a different character. It's part of why people like Titans so much, is these in-depth character episodes. Right? And this is just the same thing. We're on an even episode. We're on an even episode, so it's going to be an even sort of story. What was the last one? Rose? 2 episodes ago, it was Rose. Was that really a Rose story, or was that a Titans character story? You know,
it was like a Jason Todd, almost focused.
Yeah. It was it was also a Hawk and Dove story, right? But it wasn't a Rose story. They introduced who Rose was, but it wasn't a Rose story.
And Nathan, before I interjected and everything, I just want to say, great synopsis, and you totally let your writing skills shine right there. That was exactly how they kind of lay that out. Even though the title is of that's a certain character, it's really they just use that character to piggyback off to develop another character. Definitely. I didn't really think about it like that, but yeah, well done, man.
Well, I mean, I wish I could say I was a good writer. I just knew this because it was one of the things that once you figure out, you can't unsee. So in that sense, I just kind of saw it, and I can't unsee it.
Yeah. But how about Aqualad's? I know the CG in the show is kind of hit or miss sometimes, but man, him using his hydrokinesis was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
I feel it was well done.
Yeah, it seems like it was well done, and I hope that that's probably the spurge a bit of the budget, because okay, we're only using this guy once, so we're not gonna
Yeah, and also I guess water CGs, they've been perfecting that since the Abyss and everything, so that's probably an easier one to do.
Yeah. I wonder.
You guys all like the Abyss, right? The James Cameron movie. That movie was awesome.
Which movie? I'm getting out. I don't know if I'm outdating you guys or you're out younging me. I don't know how that works. But I've never heard of the movie.
A little column A, a little column B. But hey, it's probably on some other streaming or YouTube or something. Go watch it. If you haven't watched it, that's your homework for tonight, boys and girls.
Yeah, it was early '90s. I want to say after Terminator 2, but before True Lies, one of James Cameron's movies.
Sorry, never heard of that one either. Okay.
Wow, you don't know True Lies? Oh, anywho, we'll move on.
This is rough. But no, I'm so bad with movies. For example, my statistics teacher told me that for homework this weekend we all should watch Back to the Future. And I'm like, I have never seen that movie. Yeah.
Oh my god, bro, you gotta watch that. Get off the podcast right now.
Okay, bye.
We're going. We don't need those. I am a big movie buff, and I'm pretty when trivia stuff, or like, you know, being able to name what year a movie came out, or like the 5 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, man, I'll kill that stuff.
So getting back to Titans, when Garth was like hit by Dr. Light or whatever, like he was unscathed, completely fine. I hope they explain why that bullet hurt him and killed him.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I would imagine it's because, like, one, all right, so he's an Atlantean, so they have like way thicker skin or tougher skin, their epidermis, you know, which makes total sense dealing with the pressure, you know, at the depths of the ocean, along with his like you know, so they're endowed with like magical abilities. I imagine that played a role in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the bullet. Well, think about it like this, right? Which is stronger, light or a bullet from a sniper rifle?
I think it's the whole. I think with Slade or whatever, he's probably like, okay, I'm taking down the Titans, so I need to make sure this stuff impacts them. So he's probably sitting down and be like, you know what? We're gonna sit here and make sure these things hurt. That's what he's gonna do.
Well, I mean, it's a high projectile rifle, you know what I mean? And the bullet has, you know, greater mass than like, you know, photons or whatever. So like the electromagnetic spectrum, like the wavelengths that he uses and everything, like even with like a laser, right? Eventually it'll start to burn something, but like it doesn't have the photons don't have the mass that a bullet has. So like I can see that, and he probably, knowing that his hit or his assignment, whatever you want to call it, it looks like it was clearly for either one of the Amazons, if the old lady is an Amazon, or possibly, I don't think it was for Aqualad because he was there by chance. So possibly it was there for Donna Troy. So he probably brought some like heavy duty, like, you know, some ballistics, you know, to take her down. And just think about like, oh my goodness, like the silencer, the suppressor he had on that rifle, and like that intro scene, like that thing was hardcore, dude.
Yeah, talking about how there were 2 Amazons there. Why don't they ever wear their bracers? I mean, she could have just binked.
Out of style.
Well, it was going after Donna Troy, so not her, right?
Heck, even that situation, you have to be prepped. And she's like emotionally going to stay with him. This was after very emotional, like, hey, I'm going to stay here with Garth. And she probably was taking, like, oh my gosh, what the heck's going on? And bam.
But she never wears her bracers.
Yeah. But even still, even Wonder Woman would probably be shocked, even if you know, she's not like, you know, bulletproof or whatever. So
yeah, right. If your best friend was shot and killed in front of you, when you had no idea there was anyone like in the area that could possibly like kill him, are you gonna think where's the killer, or oh no first, you know? And all of a sudden that's all it took for Deathstroke to go boom, right? And if Jillian hadn't like acted super quickly, it would have all been over.
But I'm also thinking, like, that happened 5 years ago. They're going to face Dr. Light again. The last time they faced Light, they were facing Deathstroke. This time they're facing Light and they're facing Deathstroke. They know that. And she's still not wearing her bracers or any of her armor or anything when they face him previously in present day.
She didn't know that they didn't know they were facing Deathstroke, and like that was
present day. They did. Dick told them like he's back, so they didn't know that.
They saw he was back. They didn't know it was the Titans. Like he didn't know that the target was him, right?
Well, in the present day, they knew that Dr. Light was back, not that Deathstroke. I want to say, I could be wrong. Sorry.
No, but Dick saw them on the screen after Jason Todd. Saw them.
No, but Jason Todd and the younger, like the new, 2.0 or Next Generation. But like, remember Dick, like he's like, oh, and also, and I think he says that like at the end of the episode after the showdown.
Right at the beginning, because they find out who Rose is.
Okay, clarification, you guys. Okay, this is the answer. They found out that that Rose's dad was Slade Wilson, which Jason Todd did. However, in the beginning of episode 3, Dick Grayson discovered Deathstroke's presence. And
then he informed everyone else. He informed the other Titans.
But we're sort of arguing over 2 different instances. No. He didn't inform everyone right away that Deathstroke was here. In fact, he informed Hank and Dove
he inform them prior to informing Donna? And also, did the showdown with Dr. Light, I mean, did that happen before he informed them of Deathstroke? And also,
it happened after.
Well, Dick Grayson, I think, had seen the Deathstroke picture before they fought Dr. Light, but there was no discussion about it, I don't think.
I think there was.
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure there was, because then why would he then look at the screen himself, then go back, fight Dr. Light, then come back? Like, they didn't shoot it like that. I don't remember it pairing like that.
Well, either way,
yeah, I'm not
no matter which way it is, the thing that's most important here is that there's a sense of deja vu. The exact same events are happening.
Yeah, so they should be better prepared. They went in there without any armor the first time.
Yeah, that's just this episode. How good it is. It makes the last episode seem that their original Titans, the OG Titans, look stupider. I mean, I could give Hawk and Dove a pass. Maybe their suits were destroyed in the whole explosion. I give a pass, and Dick Grayson's suit, it's destroyed. So wouldn't they have like some other armor? Or Donna Troy still has a suit somewhere else. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna
they
touch
still
base
have the
on
suits, or at least
the topic, and then
Hawk had her suit.
Change it kind of. But so when they go to fight Dr. Light, they think they're just facing Dr. Light. Of course, she should have had her braces, and they all should have been geared up. But they don't know that Deathstroke is in working with him, and then to change little segue, talking about just seeing the old Titans together, watching this episode did not make y'all want to almost have a season or just see more of the original, because that chemistry was great between all of them.
Yeah. Again, like I said, this is a retcon of season 1 Titans.
Oh yeah, you put that good. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things they're claiming it was always there. But it's so obvious in the first season there was no other Titans beforehand, with some sort of tragic loss, right?
Oh, okay. And talking about the drama and everything between all the Titans, during the watch along, one of my last posts, I don't know if you saw it in New 52, but so I'm wondering, that conversation that Donna and Dick have in the kitchen or whatever, and Dick kind of he's venting or whatever, and he's I realize I messed up and all that. Clearly what he messed up at and was not having Aqualad get killed, because he was there by chance, that no one had any idea that was going to happen. But then the way the episode ends with him going to see Jericho. What if he is using Jericho to lure out Deathstroke, and by doing that he gets Jericho killed, and that's what everyone's upset about.
Yeah.
He killed, but it's a shame they do kill off Jericho. But maybe hopefully maybe they fake his death, and Jericho is under a different name.
Yeah, I really liked that actor. He gave a really endearing performance in the few scenes that he had.
Yeah.
But it made me wish I had learned sign language instead of German.
But his mom was on point, no, keep everything on lockdown, and she knows what man his father is.
I'll also say this, because I found it really fascinating. They did a really good job with the dialogue. I understood what he was saying, even when they weren't translating, because of the response dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt very...
They wouldn't put subtitles on everything that he was saying, so at first I was like, oh no, is my subtitle off or something? But then as the people were reacting to what he was saying, it was so easy to follow along. You're right.
Okay, so something I saw on the DCU community, I can't remember which subject the thread was under, but someone was super upset finding out that Jericho possibly, spoiler alerts, Jericho possibly is going to be killed right away or whatever in this season, which kind of makes sense with what we saw and what I was theorizing. But they were super bummed out, and I just want to ask you guys. So I've read most of the Titan runs. I did not really get into Rebirth or the New 52, but like I've read just about all of the old ones. Is anyone here like a huge Jericho fan? Like, because I was kind of just bewildered by that.
Well, the only time I looked, it was the Teen Titans animated one, that 2003 version. That's I never read most of the Teen Titans books. I think something, this would be a very good introduction of Jericho, and I mean, he does get like very powerful superpowers. He has his soul self. Maybe in this, he gets the powers and comes back later on.
Yeah, well what's
Duke, are you
important to
familiar?
realize is that Deathstroke has Grant. Grant's the one who dies.
Yes.
Got hired by
He's the original.
Got hired by Hive. Got designed, like, got something that made him more powerful than Deathstroke, but it killed him. And Deathstroke blames on the Titans. Jericho doesn't die, and eventually does become a superheroic figure. Although whether he's more of an anti-hero than a superhero.
I gotta say, in the New 52, they had that initiative, the DCU YOU, and Deathstroke had his own comic in that. And Jericho was pretty awesome in that comic. So if they do kill him off early, it's gonna be like, bummer, because he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, if anyone's read Christopher Priest's Deathstroke run in Rebirth, Jericho plays a massive part in that and has his own superhero costume and everything. It's wonderful.
Okay, so he plays a big role in like New 52 and Rebirth. See, like those are I definitely read quite a bit of like New 52 stuff, but not related.
Rebirth more than
related
52, but yeah.
Okay, so that makes a little more sense then.
I think part of what I think that they're going to do is they're basing a lot of the stuff, I'm guessing, off of Christopher Priest's Deathstroke run. Like, if I had to choose a definitive spot where I think it's all going to come from, because it's the definitive Deathstroke story, if you had to choose one. Like, that's the best Deathstroke story around. It's 50 issues. It's going to end at issue 50 in December. But Jericho has played a big part. Grant's, despite being dead, like, his death is still like an important part of the story. It's really just like, and the like wife, Deathstroke's like estranged wife has a role. Like, it's really about how Ravager plays a role. Like it's really about how like the messed up family dynamics. And then some stuff about whether Damian Wayne might be Deathstroke's father. There we go. If that interests you, read it. I'm not even going to explain it.
Oh my goodness, you just sold me on that.
His father.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
No, that's impossible.
Yeah, I don't remember. So if you are curious, you can go read Batman versus Deathstroke, which starts at, I want to say, number 32 and goes to like 37. It's designed for a graphic novel state, so you could pick it up. Although it's be kind of confusing to jump in, a little bit confusing. It's designed so that you can pick it up from the beginning. And so the first issue is really a summary. And then the second issue moves on and then really gets interesting. But I would, if you're interested, check out that story on the Damian Wayne story. Now, it's a weird story. I don't not recommend it. I haven't read it, so I can't recommend it. Because I just haven't read it.
Okay, so this Deathstroke thing is a New 52 run?
Rebirth. Yeah. Rebirth.
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. But it'll be interesting because one of the big developments there is the Defiant, which is a superhero team which Deathstroke leads. But basically includes his children, and that's about it.
By the way, what did you guys think seeing Dawn and Dick together again?
That was nice. It's like a nod to season 1. And it just says, yeah, they were together.
I still don't buy it.
I do a little. I think they're so cute.
Okay. Yeah, I think they have good chemistry, and as much as I am a Grayson and Starfire fan, like, I definitely dig their interaction.
Yeah, I like them together, and I don't mind it because they're not going to end up together. Because she goes with Hank, and he goes with Starfire or Barbara. So I just like having it.
Or Barbara. Oh, God. I was like, Barbara Minerva from, like, Cheetah? What?
Imagine. No, Gordon.
I can't get it out of my head now.
How about Donna giving Garth the cold shoulder, man?
It wasn't that cold. He's been in Atlantic waters. Poor little clownfish had to suffer way worse.
Oh no! You saw my. I don't know if you saw my post about that. That bothered me so bad. Like, you can't watch like movies like the Meg, or the Megalodon and stuff like that with me. I swear. Like, so, like, enzymes, or all depends on, like, temperature and everything. And like a clownfish is a tropical subtropical species, and if you put that thing in cold water, it would go into shock and die. So like,
well, he could have used his hydrokinesis to like keep it warm or something.
Yeah,
I guess.
Although the whole thing doesn't make sense. Like, how long were they in there for him to get a fish to swim all the way up?
He had it with him the whole time, like he took it with him.
Are you sure? Like he was in the... I don't know about that.
No, I'm like headcanoning this right now.
So the story of the fish.
If he created his own like subcurrent and everything and traveled it from like a tropical region to wherever, like, those cold waters were, maybe. But like, even that, dude, the travel, and then think about the hydraulic stress and everything like that would cause on that fish. Like, that is just not happening.
Okay, let's write the story. Okay, Nemo didn't have to swim in cold water though. So here's the story. Aqualad. Oh, hey, I'm gonna head off to the surface world soon. Ooh, see this clownfish? I'm gonna grab it for no apparent reason. Oh, hey, you're Donna? Nice to meet you. Did you know that there's clownfish in tropical water? There's clownfish in tropical water? Wait, no, there's not actually. But you just said there were. I did not just say there were. We should go look for the clownfish. No.
And then
please, they don't live in cold water. Let's go in the water. Yay. Where are the clownfish? 2 hours later. Where? I give up. I'm freezing. Can we go back? Wait, I think I see one. I think I see one. Pulls fishbowl out of his like pocket and lets it go.
He like goes and hides behind some substrate and like pulls out like a little baggie of like clownfish.
Yeah, like, I'm not really buying this story.
It was actually supposed to be like 7, but only 1 survived.
Little Nemo, is now canon to the DC universe. Fact.
Yeah, exactly. But this is American Nemo, not Australian Nemo.
I like how they almost like made it full circle with like that Amazon or that lady or whatever. She's like, "What does this have to do with clownfish?"
Everything, nothing. Man, that was a fun episode. I'll give him credit.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I had some gripes, but it was fun, so I can't really complain.
This season. Yeah, I like that this season is really more consistent because last season I felt I had more episodes that I loved.
We can't call this season consistent yet because that first episode.
Nathan, what are you talking about? There's been 4 episodes. That's totally enough to call it consistent.
But the first episode is garbage.
But that's like leftover from season 1.
But it's also not. I agree with you. The last 3 episodes have been super consistent. I don't know if you can call a season consistent yet.
Well, if I wouldn't have been interrupted, I would have said so far.
Everybody just grab your super soaker. It looks like we're all going to war.
Ooh, I'll get Aqualad to be my super soaker. That sounded really wrong.
Ooh.
Happened.
Moving on.
Well, next up, let's talk about the new comics coming out this week. Like that transition. That was a horrible transition. Let me see it. Let's try this again. You know who else was featured in comics? More water, including Aquaman number 40. And that's actually all the comics that had water in them. Anyway, let's talk about the new comics out this week. Was that a better transition? I feel like that wasn't.
10 out of 10.
Okay, I'll take it. Okay, this is what's coming out this week. Green Lanterns number 55, New Challengers number 5, Aquaman number 40, Batman number 55, Damage number 9, Harley Quinn number 50, Justice League number 8, Nightwing number 49, Teen Titans number 22, Injustice versus the Masters of the Universe number 3, and Wildstorm number 17. And I actually don't have the newly digitized with me right now. That's my fault. I'm gonna get that right now. But anyway, what'd you guys read this week?
Well, I read Batman 55, believe it or not, and it was that was actually a very that was an interesting little thing.
Yeah, it's actually a very good issue. It's
is this
the
is
most
this, is this
this
the
is the one that Nightwing
is
gets
this
shot.
Tom?
Yes, this is the one that Nightwing gets shot in the head in.
Oh yeah, that was not fun. But also, I read another one. It was I read that and Detective Comics 326. That I read that those were the two ones that came out this week, and I was like, wow. I mean, I was like, I haven't read any of the old school stuff.
Okay,
so.
can you tell me what the plot of Detective Comics number 326 is? Because the
it's
cover.
aliens.
Okay, doing what?
Duke, you know what's funny is like so for the World of Bats, J.K. Bat Jamangas in my book club, he tried to have issues 327 in there, and like that's not on there. It was such a bummer, but they just put up like 326. But I want to say like 327
If you want
yeah, they don't have.
Ooh, maybe next week because they've been going one at a time. Okay, so for those who really want the what's new to newly digitized, I would say you can check, but here's what it is. Bruce Wayne, The Road Home, Red Robin, number 1, Deadman, number 2, Detective Comics, number 326, Doom Patrol, number 18, Our Man, number 23, House of Mystery, number 180, House of Secrets, number 111, Nathaniel Dusk, number 2, and Superman, number 4, from 1937, not the 2018 version. There you go. Sorry.
Well, no, it can't be from 1937 with Superman. Superman came out in 1938.
It was 1939. Correction.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Like you're saying that's when the issue was?
No. It's the 1939 Superman series number 4.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's old Superman. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really care about like the old stuff. I'm sorry, you guys. I know some of you are super passionate. Donnell's probably screaming at me right now. You know what, Donnell? You can scream. I'm sorry. I don't care about House of Mystery, House of Secrets, Nathaniel Dusk, or Our Man number 23. Like if they like, I'm sorry.
Our Man is an interesting character, though.
I get it, but it's really a nostalgia thing, not for like new fans. Like if I'm a new fan, like there's no way I'm recommending someone.
Yeah, well, I know you started with Rebirth, right?
Speaking of Justice League number 8.
Nathan, you're cutting out, buddy.
Dang it!
This
is not my day.
I blame it on just blame Skype like I always do.
No, actually, you know what I'm blaming? I'm blaming myself for lying to you that I was going to get this podcast on Apple Podcasts, because it turns out I can't do it because our logo doesn't have enough pixels. So I altered the logo to have the right amount of pixels, and now it tells me it's not in the RGB color scale. And I'm like, what the frick does that even mean? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. So translation, we're not on Apple Podcasts because we can't get a logo. Because if I do the change logo for the Apple Podcasts, I have to change it for everything. I don't want to do that. Clear like our logo.
Yeah, well.
So that's anytime I have technical issues, blame Apple Podcasts for being angry at me.
Watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, you can watch us on YouTube, Google Play, actually, or Google Drive, or SoundCloud. Actually, Google Drive and YouTube are the way to watch everything. What else? So anyway, going back to Justice League number 8. I was going through, and it was really fun reading comics that like I've read a year ago. And this comic looks at like, I'm just gonna spoil the whole thing here because it's not the most. It's kind of spoilery, but it's not really. You guys will be fine. And what happens is the Batman who laughs has been captured by Luthor, and the whole point is the Batman who's laughs is there. He like if he wanted to leave, he could leave the second he wanted to, but he's choosing to be there on his own because Batman could escape pretty easily. And the Batman who laughs makes an agreement that I won't get in your way if you don't get in mine. And there's this tension underlining, and the deal is Batman Who Laughs will give him information if in return Lex Luthor doesn't interfere in the Batman Who Laughs plans. Well, fast forward a year, the two of them just announced that DC just announced an event comic to close off DC Year of the Villain, where the Batman Who Laughs plans are going to fight Lex Luthor's plans. And it's really interesting because I would never picked up on those two things being like the plot thread that connects DC Universe, but now it's like this big deal, and now that I've remembered that, I'll be rereading everything with a different context. So that's going to be really fun.
Yeah, this is Snyder, right?
Yes, this is Snyder's Justice League run, which, by the way, if you are not reading, you need to read.
Okay, so like I'm the biggest like Justice League fan, like as far as like reading the comics between that and like Titans and Superman, Batman. But I adore like Snyder's run on Batman for the New 52, but like with Metal and then even like the first 7 issues of the first 7 issues of Justice League, it's like everything Snyder writes is like, hey, I'm gonna set this up, really make it seem like it's this epic thing, and then kind of not deliver at the end, and have the ending just be like, wait till my next story. Like everything is, all his stuff seems like it's just setting up to the next event. You know what I mean? It's not like
it was weird. I remember reading Justice No Justice, and I was rereading it, and I was like, I can't remember how they fixed the problem in the end. I don't remember. And then the ending was like this stupid, convoluted thing. I was like, what? How does this even make sense? And it's because Snyder has this habit with Justice League of getting himself into this massive hole that has no possible way to get out, and then magically trying to, then like doing, not necessarily Deus Ex Machina, but like coming up with some weird answer to the problem. Like, doesn't make any sense. And then he moves on.
Yeah, it's like
and I love the build-up. I love the build-up. I just can't.
Yeah,
like
the build-up's great, but the execution at the end is like he sets an epic, the stage for like this epic event, and then it seems like he always just falls short with the conclusion, and like the conclusion's always just this was all just leading up to my next story arc, and there's like never really a payoff because like the ending is always just mediocre compared to how he starts the story.
And that's hard, especially because right now he's on Year of the Villain. Will Year of the Villain be incredible? Which everyone, by the way, really likes Year of the Villain so far, because it's not like a hard comic series to read, and it's like very much like, oh, this is just what's going on in the world, rather than you must read this and every comic is a tie-in to you. It's more like, oh, it's just, this is FYI what's going on in the world a little bit more. But it'll be interesting because people are really liking Year of the Villain so far. And will everything fall apart? At the end, because he builds it up too high.
Well, I see. The problem with this is, I think the reason why there's issues is because of just, it's easy to start building things up. It's how it's like, it's how you finish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's like he has to it's like he is almost forced to like play it safe because like his stories will be in canon. Like, and that's one of the reasons I love like Elseworld, or just like issues that aren't pertaining to canon. Like, because he's the what's it called? I'm reading it right now. Shucks, Deceased. You know what I mean? Like Taylor
Tom
really
Taylor,
does Tom. He really does like the old snap factor with like when people die and stuff like that. Even if like, regardless if like everything's not gonna matter, like if they fix the anti-life equation situation, it's so much more enjoyable because it feels like there's real stakes involved.
Well, it'll be interesting because Tom Taylor's taking over Suicide Squad, and we'll get to read that, of course, in like a year and a half. But one of the things he says is the first issue is really sort of is like the second issue is really the first issue, and the first issue is like an event, like one shot almost. And like he said, no one is safe, and part of the whole premise of his series is that no one is safe, and that there'll be
which just makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah, and so I'm hoping it works, and it'll be interesting tying it in because we also have all the preparation going on with who's directing Suicide Squad, James Gunn, and so it'll be interesting because there's some synergy there. Is that they both have a similar idea. Like if you've seen the casting list for the Suicide Squad, it is like 50 different superhero names. Like we don't know the names, but it's like the actors, and you're like, there's no way all of these characters are surviving.
Well, yeah, it's in the name.
They said the actors' names. They didn't say what the names of the characters were.
It's Suicide Squad, so you know.
Oh, go on, Duke.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because they seem like they're on the same idea. But going back to Snyder, I think the problem, and I don't know, this is something I've come to the conclusion of with DC, is I think DC's Year of the Villain has been spoiled consistently because of solicitations.
Yeah.
Like, nothing is surprising me anymore. Like, I'm reading Batman Superman, and it's really good. But I already know who the infected are.
Dude,
because the solicitations have spoiled every single one of them.
So I haven't been to the comic shop. I went on Batman Day, but I forgot my debit card, so I couldn't get anything. Right, I know. But like, so I have like 2 weeks worth of stuff in my pull slip. But so I have the first issue of Batman Superman, and I was super bummed out because like I think half of that story was in like I can't think of what comic it was, but like
it was a preview.
Yeah,
so
like
it was in everything.
Yeah, like okay, so yeah, like whatever comic was I was reading that like had the the preview, like that was like half of the story, and I was like, dang it, dude, this first issue was like nothing.
Yeah.
Speaking of new stuff, so like I still buy new stuff, and I actually probably read more new stuff than things that are like newly digitized on the app.
Yeah.
So the new I don't follow Tom King's Batman. I tried I bought the first volume and I just couldn't get into it. I love his Mr. Miracle. But so the newest issue, like with him and Selena Kyle, like in Hawaii and everything, those panels cracked me up. I was flipping through it, and like I was like, dude, he looks like Tom Selleck from Magnum PI. That mustache, it was hilarious.
That's so true, though. No, sorry, this is the most non-DCU conversation we've ever had on the show, but I love Tom King's panels in City of Bane. Like, or I forget who's drawing them. When Hawaii,
Clayman.
So no.
Oh, yeah, the artist.
It's
the
not
artist is doing that.
It's so beautiful. Like
Agreed.
I could totally see just like Bachelor in Paradise, like just being like a Bachelor in Paradise, where it's just Selena and Bruce Wayne working out on the beach and making out. Like it has like that dreamy look.
I don't know how many artists have been working like on that Tom King's run, but whoever it was that drew the one for this most recent one, oh my god, that guy is fantastic. Like it is just beautiful looking.
You know what it is? It's they are right. It is Clayman. I don't know what I was thinking.
It is Clayman, that's right. And like, dude, like seriously, oh my goodness, like that one panel where like they're on the jet skis going to like that yacht or like that whatever, that big boat, and like the sun is like reflecting on the ocean. It's just like, oh dude, that guy is amazing.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be doing Batman Catwoman, and I am so much more excited for the series now that I've seen like all this imagery. That's just jaw dropping. I really want Batman versus okay, tie it back.
To tie this back into the DCU to make it relevant, someone on the threads, I can't think of the user's name, I apologize, but they were saying like I can't stand the whole like calling Batman bats and like Selena Kyle cats, and I was just like, what is that? I was like, when did they do that? Because like I don't read the Tom King run, and I was flipping through that newest issue, and I was, oh, that's where they do it, and it is super like cheesy and kind of cringy.
Yeah. So if you want to get into Batman or Tom King's Batman, my advice is if you can't manage to read the whole thing, start with issue number 48, which is the start of the Best Man storyline, and then go from there. Just read 48 to 55, and you'll be caught up, and you'll understand why it's so talked about. But like you won't quite understand why people love Catwoman and Batman so much together, because a lot of their great chemistry is in the earlier issues. But from a plot standpoint, number 48 is a perfect jump on point.
Good.
So I would try that. And then Best Man is the story with the Joker going to church and stuff happens. There you go.
Stuff happens.
Well, let's talk about Nightwing. Speaking of Batman, let's talk about Nightwing. In Batman 55, Nightwing gets shot in the head. How do you feel?
Well, he
1
gets
year
better.
later. Yeah. Spoiler alert.
So I haven't read that.
Go ahead.
I know that happened and everything. But like I've heard some pretty negative reviews about how since then the story's been going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I haven't and also I'm honestly the only new 50 I keep saying that. The only Rebirth stuff that I've been following myself is the Justice League and Bendis' Superman and let's see, Justice League, Superman, and Aquaman. So
those are
I'm not sure
incredibly solid choices.
No, I those are pretty much the only kind of choices I make. Come on, dude, give me a chuckle. Best podcast ever.
Yeah, what is this podcast becoming, guys? We can't even talk about the fact that Nightwing got shot in the head without dissolving. It's just laughter.
Well, I mean, okay. He got better, so
sort of.
Hey,
I mean, he's
in
no
comic books,
Dick
shot in the head. Well, you get shot in the head, you get a name change. It's better than kicking in the pants. So I mean, heck, better than this world, and that's this reality. Heck, you get shot in the head, you're pretty much done. No, you can get shot in the head in the DC.
I would rather him get kicked in the pants than shot in the head.
And I can fix it.
He's not fine though. His name is now Rick Grayson. He doesn't remember anything about Batman. It's not
also,
fine.
If he gets shot in the head,
things are not fine.
Walking in Memphis.
Yeah, in 2020. Sorry. Wait,
anybody
what?
Catch that? The Mark Cohen, because he got in a armed robbery, got shot in the head, and then after that he wrote "Walking in Memphis." No, nobody.
No. I do have a very personal connection with Memphis itself, but that's fine. But no. So things are not fine for Nightwing, you guys. And you know what took me back? I was going through this. They did their darndest to hide what happened to Dick Grayson for as long as possible. Nightwing number 49 ends with a cliffhanger that makes it seem it's going to go this very tech focused route, and it's going to be the big climax to it's going to be a big climax issue, and instead it's a very low hanging climax where it's a big issue, but 49 sets it up to be one thing, and the 50 is just a completely different thing.
So
completely different.
So they pick the low hanging fruit to go with the story, or to continue.
I don't know about that, but they hit it really well, and we're talking about how Year of the Villain just feels like it keeps getting spoiled. Nothing in Year of the Villain has surprised me so far. I've had a couple. The big one being Batman and Catwoman getting together, which was actually they somehow managed to half hide. But that's the only been big celebration in the last 2 years. They were the last 2 months of surprises, because marketing's just been spoiling everything.
Well, they gotta market and do something. So
yeah, but no one knew that this would happen. He would get shot in the head. Whereas I feel like now the current marketing team would be like, this would be the description of number 50. After Nightwing got shot in the head, he is now Rick Grayson. Find out more in this issue. It's like, but just spoil the whole thing, and like
it's like a trailer, a movie trailer telling little Gil, giving up the movie in 2 minutes. Like, well, I'm not watching this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the solicitations have been doing. It's like I can already tell you who all 9 of the infected are in Batman/Superman. Like, there's no, because of the solicitations, they've over marketed all of it to the point where it's like, does it even matter, like, who they are at this point? And that's my frustration. Anyway, we talked about comics for a long time, you guys. You guys want to talk about some news?
Do we want to talk about what?
News.
Oh, let's see, some good old news.
Okay, this won't probably be as funny. Anyway, so New York Comic Con starts next week, you guys. Yay!
I'm not going, and I'm happy because it's just too much craziness and such.
I mean, do you live near New York Comic Con?
Oh yeah, I'm I used to go up there a couple years ago, but the way they got tickets was it was frustrating and it was exhausting. Yeah.
Well,
if you lost my cell phone once upon a time there.
Well, I got
it back.
I really want to know how the DC lounge is, because they have a DC lounge that's non-ticketed. That if you have a DC account, you can just go into, and they'll have the exclusive like signings and stuff. So anyway, that's the news. I'm gonna pull up the exact article because I am bad, you guys, and I didn't copy and paste the article. I'm doing so great this week, you guys. I derailed 20 billion discussions, failed segments, and the tech issues are all my fault because of Apple Podcasts.
Don't forget to cite your sources.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm pulling up my sources now because I didn't copy and paste them. Okay, while we're doing that, let's talk about Spider-Man.
Oh, that thing! I knew that thing was thing. Like I said in everything else, they're gonna sit down, they're gonna talk about it, and they're gonna get them back together. And that's what it is. So
I was so wondering if we were going to talk about Spider-Man. So like today I'm with like my ecology professor, and we're like upstairs where all like the grad students are and everything. And someone's just like, you hear about Spider-Man back in the MCU? And I was just like, what? I was like, when did this happen? And they're like, today. And I was like, oh my goodness. Like I honestly don't know how I feel. Like I was kind of like happy for Sony, like, sticking their guns against, the monster Disney.
I love Disney. I will never view them as a monster, even though I know they're in fault.
Well, we all knew the Mouse House was going to get.
Sorry.
You're going to do what I say, and you're going to like it. You're going to fall in line.
Whoa, who did that?
Sorry, that was my South Park Mickey Mouse
voice. That was so good. You should just talk like that from now on.
Okay, I was going to say, you can edit it, Nathan.
I will not. You want me to edit it like that?
No.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Just saying that, Spider-Man's going to be, a part of the MCU, and there's nothing you can do about it, Sony.
This is so priceless. Okay, let's go over New York Comic Con. So, if you want to hang out at New York Comic Con and hang out with DC Universe, there is no badge required, but you do need to make sure you have your QR code ready to go through the My DC section of your app, because this clubhouse gets mighty exclusive. DCU will be having their own exclusive pop-up headquarters for members as well as fans of DC Universe. But our podcast, you guys, they said our podcast, fans of DC Universe.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was just coincidental. Yeah, they were like headquarters for members as well as fans of DC Universe. And that's our podcast. So I guess we have our own headquarters. But only members get access to the exclusives of DCU HQ. We're offering the best destination for those looking to hang out around New York Comic Con, a place to escape from the hectic convention floor and enjoy unique and exclusive programming. So every day from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. you can go hang out, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we're recording on Friday, so I don't know what's going on or what our plans are for next week, because I think we'll do predictions next week because we're already running late. But What else? They're also doing Harley Quinn. I gotta find that source too, you guys, because they weirdly post it in like 3 different sources. Okay, Harley Quinn. With the Harley Quinn animated series and Birds of Prey on the horizon, not to mention Harley Quinn being named Villain of the Year, we'd be silly not to wield our mallets. So here's what's up. Across the Javits Center and beyond, you'll have multiple opportunities to hang out with Harley, including a fun mix of fun activations, stunts, and eye candy. What is eye candy? Like I know what it is.
Candy for your eyes.
But like, what will the eye candy be?
I can give you a description, but
it's like
I'm
a
sure
little bit of droplet.
Oh.
It will sting a bit, but it will feel like strawberries and cherries. So it's like an eye.
Forget peaches.
Okay.
Just anything that looks good.
So like costumes and stuff, maybe. I don't know if I would consider the Harley Quinn costumes eye candy though. Yeah, go ahead.
I say one thing though about Harley being like, so what? She was nominated Villain of the Year.
I don't know. I don't even feel like
she's not she's not really a villain anymore, and two, like I feel like that should go to like the whoever Leviathan or someone like that is.
I'm super curious who Leviathan is, you guys. Speaking of things that DC hasn't spoiled, no one knows who Leviathan is. But actually, if you really want to find out, it's been spoiled because Bendis put a clue that was not subtle enough in a different comic, which spoiled everything.
Yeah.
That comic, which I don't spoil it because I don't know. I avoided it, but it's like a super spoiler, and most people think it's right, so that's problematic.
Pennyworth.
Wait, is that true? No.
Eat your heart out, Scott Snyder.
I was literally about to eat my heart in the marketplace, but anyway, that's a Shakespeare reference, by the way. I don't even know where we are anymore. Something about you guys can watch. You guys can go to the Fantabulous Evolution of One Harley Quinn Gallery, which is some sort of gallery thing. You can also get an early look at the Harley Quinn animated series on Sunday, October 6th at the Hulu Theater at 1:05. We don't know why it's 1:05. Just go with it. That's Applejack directly quoting. Actually, it's not Applejack. It's DC Universe. My mind is going all over the place, you guys. And then finally, there's a New York Comic Con panel, but not for DCU. It's for Harley Quinn. So, translation, we have no idea if we're actually going to be getting any Stargirl news or not. Because they haven't said anything that would hint that.
That's a bummer.
What?
That's a bummer if we don't.
Like, if there's one place where it might be, which would be in like one of the activations, like they would be doing it at the New York Comic Con pop-up hangout area. But I don't know if that's the place you want to debut Stargirl, you know?
I heard some mixed things about it. I want to see the show to do well because I heard they say they nailed it, but I want to see a good trailer first. So
yeah, we haven't even gotten a trailer.
I don't know if it was Nathan saying that they've been working. I don't know if it was you, Nathan, that said they've been working on it like since before Titans. But I mean, we all know, Jeff Johns is working on it, and like that was like his first character assignment or whatever. And I can't imagine it's not going to be amazing.
Yeah,
and also like in the watch.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Jeff
in the watch.
You go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm terrible.
Okay, no, you're good, buddy. In the Watchtower during like San Diego Comic-Con, everyone was asking about it, and like the mods totally seemed like they were hinting that like, well, we got to save something for New York Comic-Con. That's all I got to say, bud.
Okay, well, here's the thing about Jeff Johns, and this is my guess is why it got delayed. Jeff Johns seems to have 300 billion projects, and none of them have come in on time. His Shazam number 7, number 1 debuted in December. Like, you guys, he's so bad at releasing.
That's great.
Doomsday Clock.
Great if y'all haven't been reading it.
Well,
I'm sure honestly, it is. But here's the thing: Doomsday Clock, right, got delayed like countless times, and ended up finishing a year and a half, like 2 years and like a month after the first issue came out. Like, you guys,
the Doomsday Clock is painful. Like the last one, 12, was like in December. But the only like argument I could use for that is I would rather him give us a good story than worry about publishing dates.
Yeah, but he's like, I think that's why Stargirl got delayed, because he's so bad at like actually getting through his projects on time, right? And so we got Titan season 2,
and he's also working on like a Green Lantern story.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's doing so much work.
That's the problem, is that he should be delegating other parts and such, saying, okay, I can't write this because I'm busy doing A, B, and C. He has to, he's not just a producer of these shows at DC Universe.
No, he's writing them, right?
He's writing them and producing them, I believe. But also he's like working stuff in the movies and stuff. He needs to find someone else to carry the load for him. I mean, I know he wants to. I know he deep down wants to do all the things. I know as a creator, I feel like I could do all the things, but then he needs to sit back and say, you know what, I can't do all this. I need to step back, and that sort of thing.
Didn't they make him step back as far as like production and like whatever title it is for like movie stuff though? Like after Justice League? Yeah.
Yeah, he got kicked off of the DC Extended Universe, which he was in charge of. I think.
Which is honestly a shame, dude, because like no one in the business right now knows DC like he does. Like, I mean, straight up, dude.
But if he can't deliver the stuff on time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and this is the movie biz, right? The movie biz doesn't have time for delays. They set a date 3 years in advance before the script's even been written, and they follow through with it.
Yeah, same thing. You look at the Spider-Man movie; they already have a date and everything else. So
and they literally just agreed. Exactly, they literally just came to an agreement today to rejoin the MCU, and they're already like he's going to join in like probably Doctor Strange, and he's going to be in Spider-Man.
I know, but it's almost unfair to compare like DC or like a time,
but it's just
time like compared to like Disney, who's like such a well-oiled machine compared to you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's
but like Jeff Johns can't get his stuff in on time. Like the movie biz is super serious about release dates. They announced Marvel announced release dates 5 years before, like 3 years before we even knew what was coming. Like
we need our own Kevin Feige, but like I also at the same time it's like I would definitely rather have quality over quantity.
Honestly, DC should just restart their universe. If I'm being frank, this one fell apart, and I don't think there's a way to save it. It's not that the rest of the movies aren't great, because they are. Shazam and Aquaman are fantastic, but they just need a palette restarter, and like restart with like some obscure character like Booster Gold and go from there.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, and that's what they.
What do you have with Booster Gold? What's your problem with Booster Gold?
No, seriously, Booster Gold or Flash are like the ideal characters to like do a reboot. I mean, straight up.
Yeah.
And besides, worse to the worst, you can still do it. I mean, heck, change casting and everything else. They can do that. I mean, heck, the best thing they can do, I think DC can do, is just do what they're doing. Is to, if you want to have a consistent story, is make sure you're going to have like a Kevin Feige or whatever, and just say, okay, we're good. We have a plan. That's what they need to do, and find a person. I think Jeff Johns is doing the best he can, but he's only one man. I mean, some people can handle responsibility. Kevin Feige can.
Well,
but I worry he's
Snyder.
He's one man too, so I worry about him too. So.
Scott Snyder Scott Snyder was the Kevin Feige of the DC universe. We just know how that panned out.
Yeah, but they weren't crazy about that dark turn he was taking. But also, we're about to have, most likely. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend like I understand all this stuff, but we might have J.J. Abrams, which originally he wanted to do a Superman story, super bad.
But here's also the thing about J.J. Abrams. Okay, he just released his Spider-Man comic. It's bad, and it's like it's all about shock value. If Kevin Feige could write a good story, like I don't think J.J. Abrams can write a good superhero story.
No, Nathan, I hear you on that, and also J.J. Abrams is definitely known nowadays for like relaunching, properties and stuff. But all the properties he's relaunched, like Star Trek, Star Wars, there's another one I know there is, but like. It starts off good, but he doesn't have an overall plan for it, and they crumble and burn.
Yeah, Star Trek Beyond was actually really fun, but then 5 couldn't even get above the water. So we're actually running.
And also he wasn't.
We're running so low on time, you guys.
Can I please say one thing though?
We have two things we got to cover real quick. So that's why I'm like, we got to move. One, we're doing something called the KPs as a group. The KPs will be an award show, which we'll host on the podcast for all the superhero TV shows, all the superhero comics, and or all the comics-based. Well, I guess all the comics-based movies, and all the one I'm missing. All the comics games, and we'll do an award show. And the best way you guys can participate is there's a link in the Discord and on DC Universe, and where you guys can vote on which TV shows you guys want which ones you've watched, what your top live action series of the year was, what your second place was, your third place, what animated shows you finished this year, what top animated show what was your top animated show of the year, what was your second, and choose a character to nominate a character for best hero, and then nominate a character actor for best villain, and to give your best superhero moment, your most anticipated superhero show, and the most anticipated crossover, and the most anticipated animated show. And you guys, I'm just going to tell you guys this now. Actually, should I spoil any of these results?
Spoil it.
Okay, you guys are incredibly split. There are literally, out of 13 responses, we have more than 13 responses. Some people haven't answered this question. Out of 13 responses, we have over 11 different viable picks for best superhero hero of the year. Like there's one that has more than one vote. I'm not gonna spoil which one, but you guys, it's intense. Like, some of you guys are so close, and like there's so many good choices you guys. And also, I asked people like what shows they've watched or finished. Keyword being finished. All but one show on the list of like 30 shows hasn't been seen by someone so far, and that's Cloak and Dagger season 2. Yeah, I'm sorry, Cloak and Dagger. It's just not meant to be, apparently. Anyway, those are some quick things for the KPs. In a couple of weeks, we're going to do the comics poll and the movies poll and the games poll. We're just waiting on Joker to come out and House of X to finish, because I want to put that. And then Aquaman, you want to say something?
I did. Thank you so much. Okay, I'll be real quick. So I was nominated for Community Hero, which is super awesome. Thank you, DCU. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to say, like, you don't have to make a bunch of threads, because I don't. I really just goof around, but I just want to share what I got. So the biggest thing, like, oh snap, was Seven Soldiers Omnibus by Grant Morrison. I haven't read. I'm super excited to get into this. This thing is like a Bible. It's like 30 comics. Besides that, I got the Justice League Unlimited Superman action figure, which is just super awesome. I got Aquaman 44 by DeConnick. I got the Action Comics issue 1007, the Bendis run, and I got Bendis's cover number 5. And the best one out of all is Superman, a celebration of 80 years, that highlights so many great Superman stories. So I just want to say thank you, DCU, if y'all are listening. And it's just fantastic. It was like almost, definitely over $150 worth of stuff, almost 200. And just really appreciate it.
Congrats.
Aww.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You also gave this giant thank you post, and I saw that you called me possibly the laziest person on this community. And you know what? I take deep offense to that. I'm not going to read the rest of the comment. I'm just going to leave it at that. Well, with that, you guys, that's it. We're kind of light on news. It's also like we're all waiting for Comic-Con, which is where all the news will drop. So next week we'll talk about predictions, because we did this week. We'll also talk more about the KPs. We'll talk about Titans episode 5, some comics news, and hopefully some news out of Comic-Con. Although it's so early in the Comic-Con, we might not get anything. And you can listen to us on Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Podbean. And we'll see you next week. Bye. Actually,
Bye.
I do this every week. I forget to type in end recording, so I got to type in end recording. So you guys say bye in as long of a way as possible.
Bye.
Later, y'all.